Hey everyone, I know it's been a little while since I've been on here, and I wanted to come on today and do something a little different. We did a video a while back of great makeup for fall, and so I thought today what I would do is look at a trend that's always popular in the holiday season, but I've noticed that it's become really popular and prevalent this year, and that's like berry kind of mauve toned makeup. So if doing a tutorial using some new to me and some classic products that kind of meet this criteria for like berry mauve wintry makeup sounds good to you, then I'd really appreciate it if you'd like, subscribe, follow along, and consider shopping my links, Unsolicited Eyevice, on Instagram and on YouTube. So let's begin. So I'm going to start today with my brows. And a product that I've really enjoyed of late is this Make Beauty Infinite Hold Brow Tint. I did receive this in PR. I got a couple of colors. But I really like these kind of products for when I'm doing videos or I want to do something really fast. My favorite kind of brow pencil is kind of the Benefit one or even the Victoria Beckham. But you know, those take a little bit more time. These are super fast. And this particular one is really beautifully tinted. And it does the point, or it does the job of providing me with a little bit of color to fill in spots that I have, and holding my brows down a little bit. It's not a super it's not like going to give you a laminated look. It's more subtle than that, but it does provide a good amount of color, as you can see, and kind of fills in my holes a little bit. Okay, so for my lips, I'm just going to go in with this Edam lip treatment. This is the lip softening balm, and I try to do this every time I do my makeup right about the time when I start, so that by the time we get to lips later, they're not so dry. And they have been so dry lately because the weather here in Oklahoma City has juggled back and forth, and so I really like this product. It's a really nice product to condition the lips and get them ready. So I have some new products today that I wanted to show you. You know, I tend to do luxury beauty on here, and it's not that I don't think that Target or Walgreens or something like that doesn't have good beauty products. It's just that I purchased my own beauty products, and so I often have to be careful about what I buy, and I know that I tend to like the luxury beauty products a lot, and they tend to be the ones that I get questions about on here the most. But I did want to show y'all something that I've really enjoyed of late. Well, I've enjoyed the foundation for close to a year, but the concealer just came out, and this is a lower priced brand that you can get at Ulta or on their website, and it's the About Face brand. I really like the foundation. It's called the Performer. It's a really good value. I think it's about $25. And they have recently come out with a concealer that, as you can tell, I got a bit too light, but I think we can make it work. And it's a really good, reasonably priced foundation and concealer product. And I've actually tried a few products from them. I've tried their eyeshadow primer and their lip primer. Both work really well. So that's what we're going to do today on the face. But before we go any further, I did grab the About Face eyeshadow base, or eyeshadow primer. This is not one that provides a lot of pigment. It does have like a soft kind of ivory color, but it's really more about evening and providing kind of a tacky base for eyeshadow to go to. So I'm just going to place that on. This is not one that's going to help you much with discoloration, but the shadows that I've selected today are liquid shadows, so I don't need a lot of help with discoloration. These are highly pigmented shadows. So I want to put a primer on, and I find that the About Face is more of kind of a natural finish. So I wanted to go with something a little bit glowy, and a product that I have loved this winter is the, what's it called? The Tom Ford Apres Glow. This is a primer, but it's also something you can just put on by itself, and it just gives you a really beautiful natural glow. Let me see if I can do it on the back of my hand. I don't know that it will show up, but it just gives you this beautiful kind of sheen. There's no real visible glitters in it, but it just gives you a beautiful, like, hydrated look. So I've been enjoying it even by itself, kind of similar to like the chantecaille. And it has that great the Tom Ford winter scent, which I absolutely love. Sometimes I find the summer one too sweet, but the winter one I absolutely love. So I'm going to put a layer of that on, and you'll see it just gives you like a really healthy glow. And I like to use something like this when I'm using a more natural or matte foundation product. But much like the chantecaille, like the rose tint or the gold tint, I can wear it by itself and it looks really beautiful. Like in the winter, I can wear this to work and no one's going to clock it. But it just gives this beautiful shine and hydration that I really like. So the About Face foundation, it's called the Performer, and it's skin-focused foundation. They have a really good shade range. That's really important to the brand and to their founder, Halsey. And so I really like it. It's a nice bottle. It's plastic, but it's a nice, like, hard plastic. And then it has this kind of doe foot applicator, a big, thick, chunky doe foot. And I found that when I first got it, I thought, oh, I'm going to hate that. But I actually kind of like it. And I find that doing like 2-ish pumps of it, or I guess what a pump would be, but it's really just putting 2 kind of inserts, does just fine for me. So I'm going to grab just a good old-fashioned foundation brush and just show you how beautifully this goes on. And it is like a natural finish, but it goes on really beautifully on top of that Tom Ford primer. I've tried it on the chantecaille and it looks really nice. It reminds me a little bit of like the Pat McGrath foundation, which is one that I absolutely love. I think that one maybe has a hair more coverage, but it has that same beautiful, like, natural finish, and that I really like. You know, I'm more normally a glowy person, but I found with like the Pat McGrath glowy setting spray, I can kind of create that glowy look if I'm using something like this. And something like this that's more natural or matte, normally the more natural or matte the foundation is, the longer lasting it'll be. And you really cannot beat this price. The only thing I've tried from the drugstore that I've liked about as much as this would be like the True Match from L'Oreal. That's the best drugstore foundation, and this one's very good. Okay, so next we have the concealer, and this is the Illusionist Skin Focused Concealer. This just came out. I think that this is far too light, the shade I got, but I think we can make it work. It's very thin, but it has a decent amount of coverage. It's not as thin as like a Gucci. It's kind of in the middle of the range. It's not as high coverage and thick as like a Pat McGrath, but it's not as thin as like Gucci or even Tower 28. Kind of like a Danessa Myricks maybe would be a good consistency match. I mean, this one is fairly light, as you can see. But what I'll do is just go over it with the foundation brush just ever so slightly. And that tends to fix that. Now, I don't think that this is like a self-setting concealer. It doesn't feel like that. It kind of reminds me actually of the RMS one. If you tried the new RMS one that came out this year, it kind of reminds me of that. It's a nice product. you are probably going to want to set it. But before I do that, I'm just going to take my foundation brush with whatever foundation's left on it and just gently go over this to merge the two together. And see, that did a pretty nice job there. I'm going to grab just a powder, a quick powder. I'll grab the Givenchy pressed powder. This works really well. And I'm just going to put a little of that under my eyes. Normally I would use like my La Prairie, but this one works really well too. This or the Prada one would work really well. And I'll just hit my little pores right here while I'm at it. Just the area where I have larger pores. And that did a pretty nice job there. And I have found that this concealer and foundation, the 2 times I've tried it, have turned out really well. And again, for the price, I think it's like 20 and like 18 or something. You can't beat that. And it's at Ulta, and they've always got those coupons right now during the holidays. Okay, I think that looks really good. So I'm gonna grab the eyeshadows we're gonna look at today, and I'll be right back. So I grabbed a couple of these little Merit brushes because we're going to do liquid shadows today, and I find that these work pretty well with them. And I love these little brushes. Whenever there's a Sephora sale, I always pick up 1 or 2 new ones. But Sephora normally, as the holidays get closer, will do like a 20% off one purchase. And so if they do, you might want to consider putting some of these or their foundation brushes in your basket because I really like them. So I wanted to do kind of a berry look to go with the berry products that we're going to put on the face today. And so I grabbed 4 of the Armani eye tints because these have recently been on sale and they will go on sale again during the holidays. And so the colors I grabbed are all kind of in the cool or berry family. So we have mahogany, which is kind of a blood red, just really beautiful burgundy color. It's got some sparkle in it, but it's not crazy. Sunset, which is a beautiful, vibrant, kind of pinky color. Very cool toned. And then cold copper, which is a cool copper color. They also have one that's just regular copper, and it's really, really orangey and beautiful, but this one is really nice. And finally, I grabbed Rose Ashes, which is this kind of duochrome, but it's got a little bit of pink. But see how, I don't know if you can see in the shade here, but it goes a little bit greenish. It's just a really pretty color. So I think between these 4, we can create something kind of special. So I thought we could do like a berry look today with these 4 and come up with something unique and interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start with the cold copper color, and I'm going to place it on the outside. Now, this is going to be a mostly metallic look, but if you wanted, you could start with something like wood or one of the other Armani shades that are matte. But I have found even the metallics in this format work really beautifully blended out. They're really like mature eye friendly. I mean, if I had mature eyes. 44-year-old eyes. Okay, that looks really nice. So on the bulk of the lid, what I'm going to do is grab the shade Sunset, and I'm going to put it over the inner portion to about the inner third. And this is that beautiful, vibrant kind of pinky color. And if you wanted this to be less kind of pinky or rosy, you could swap these and put this one on the outer portion and put that cold copper on the inner. I think that would look really nice too. These have a pretty quick dry down, but it's not so quick that you can't work with them. And those two colors look really pretty together. I mean, obviously any of these would look great on their own, but look how quick and easy that is. I'm just going to merge them a little bit. I'm actually going to go in with just a little bit more of that cool copper, just to bring it back. And I'm going to keep it really tight to this corner, unlike the first time where I kind of put it all over my crease. That looks really nice. Okay, so for the inner third and the inner eye color, I'm going to grab this beautiful Rose Ashes color. This is the one that's a little bit duochromy. It's gold, but it's got a little pink and a little green in it. And I'm just going to place that on this inner portion. And then in a second, I'll place some on that inner eye color. I'm going to grab that brush while it's still kind of damp and merge it in with the other ones. Any one of these would make a really good one and done. They're so pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to grab that Rose Ashes color again. And I'm just going to place a little bit on this inner portion. Now they have some lighter ones, they have some sparklier ones that you could do if you wanted, but I think this will work well, and I'm just going to grab the small end of this brush. And now that it's kind of dried a little bit, you can go in and merge the colors if there are any harsh lines. I think that looks really pretty. Okay, so now what I want to do is use this mahogany color as kind of a liner and keep it kind of tight towards the bottom. So you can do that by taking this little tip point and kind of placing it. And so that's kind of what I'm going to do. And then I'll get finer by using that small end of that Merit brush. Now, when you're doing this, you probably want to do one eye at a time. So I'm going to take this and bring it over ever so slightly. And this mahogany color works really beautiful like this as a liner. You can see how I introduced that burgundy color. That's why I wanted to keep the lid itself kind of light. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. When you do this, make sure to scrape off any excess product on the side. Because you don't want any large clumps. Grab that same brush. Just try to even them out. I think that this one over here got a little bit fuller. But I think that looks really nice. Okay, so what I'm going to do under is just grab that cold copper color. I don't really want to do pink down there. I could replicate what I did on the top, but I think just grabbing this cold copper color will work best. And I'm kind of just roughly placing it along the line there, and then I'm going to take my brush and blend it in. Sometimes if you put like that pinky color down there, it can make you look a little sick. Yeah, I think that worked really well. I'm going to grab a complimentary liner and mascara, and we'll be right back. Okay, so the liner I thought I was going to grab did not work the way I wanted it. So here's 3 liners that I grabbed to go with this color palette here that we've created. On the top is Fig, and on the second down here is Bordeaux, both from Victoria Beckham. And I just find the Bordeaux to be a little too red, and I find this one to be a little too purple. This here in the middle is Mahogany, or towards the bottom actually, the one on the bottom is Mahogany from Prada. And so I think that that is going to be our best bet. So I'm going to put that in the waterline because I want to keep this berry, not purple. And this Mahogany is kind of a reddish brown, but it's got a little bit of sheen to it. These Prada liners are quite good if you haven't tried them. And it's not as red as the Bordeaux color. So I'm going to grab just my brush again and just kind of smudge that out a little bit. I think that Bordeaux would have been a little bit too red. And that Fig would have been a little too purple. Okay, and then I'm just going to grab my Prada Scope mascara, and this is in black, but obviously you could use a brown or a burgundy. Why do I keep my mouth open when I do that? I look like a porn star. Not in a good way. This Prada mascara is quite good. Okay, so you might be thinking, well, that's a little understated even for me because I normally like a glitter. You could put a Half Magic glitter puck on there, a Fenty Diamond Bomb. Armani makes some beautifully sparkly liquid shadows that you could place over the top. But I'm going to show you a trick that I'm going to do in a second to tie the blush in with the eye look. So that's the eye look, and the thing I really like about this is that it's one brush. Well, it's 2 brushes, but it's one brush, both sides of it. But less brush laundry is good for me. Okay, so let's see. Let's put the Prada back. Oof. The desk is taken over. It gets crowded during the holidays. Okay, so let's go in and do contour. And for that, I have grabbed my Dior contour stick in medium. It's a little dark compared to my beloved Westman Atelier, but I have found if I just use it sparingly, I can get away with it. One shade down would have been a better match for me. My perfect match is Biscuit from Westman Atelier, which I don't know if you saw this, but they added a new blush duo today, which I think is really funny that they added that the day after their sale ended. And most of the time you never see anyone launch a product in December, but we're already seeing so many like spring previews. And if you haven't checked out my spring preview video, you might want to, because I have some new products that are available in Europe and not here yet, but it will give you an idea of what's coming in the spring. And then there's some things obviously that haven't come yet that I'm really excited about, like the Prada concealer, because the Prada foundation is one of my all-time favorites. So that one works itself out. It's not as easy to work with, I don't think, as the Westman Atelier, but it certainly is a nice product. Okay, so now for bronzer. Let me grab a bronzer blush or a bronzer blush brush. I wanted to go with kind of the lightest bronzer that I have. That's cool, and so I went with the #1 bronzer from Gucci, shade #1, which is my favorite. Gucci makes the best bronzer, I think. And blush. I mean, I think they really master their powder products. So I'm just going to place some of this on just to add a little warmth, but this color is light and cool, so it should do the trick without making me look tan. That Farah Hamidi one in the lightest color, was it Boys, I think it's called? That one would work really well too. Okay, so now we get to blush, and I pulled a couple of things today to try. The first one is something that I got during the Victoria Beckham sale, and it is the, what are these called? The Color Wash blushes in Vintage Rose. I don't have this shade, I have one of the other shades, and it is a beautiful purple. I thought we could try that. I also thought if we wanted, we could go with one of the cream blushes, my favorite formula from Chanel. And this is in the Gournat Profonde color, which is this burgundy berry kind of color. And then I also have, kind of as a topper, or maybe we can transition it into highlighter, the new Chantecaille Holiday Radiant Blush. And I have the pink shade, and I picked this up during the sale because it's far too expensive by itself, but it is really beautiful. So I figure what I can do is do the color wash first, because it's obviously going to be the most subtle, but it would show you how it would look on its own, and then we can really build it up with some of the other ones. So let me wash on my hands so we can swatch these out and sample and see what works best. Okay, so I've got a clean back of the hand. I will say with these, I prefer to use like a metal tray because these will stain your hands, but I'm not going anywhere tomorrow, so I don't have to necessarily worry about that. You want to shake these really well and then deposit a drop or two onto the back of your hand. Some people put it directly on their face, but unless you move extremely quick, you are going to see a little bit of a mark there, especially with these darker colors on a lighter person. So I'm going to grab a little of this burgundy vintage rose color. And you see how it comes out? It's a wash. And I just take it and I load up my brush with it, and then I place it. And it's a really subtle wash of color. Now you obviously could build them up, but that's not really their intent. Their intent is to provide you with just that kind of wash of color. So let's try it again. This time I grabbed a little bit more. This part's a little tricky to do when you first get one of these because the little button on top is super tight in there. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a little of this on the back of my hand on the brush and place it over here as well. And you can see there, it's a pretty color. I'm gonna grab some over here and kind of even it out. I like these, particularly like in the summer when you don't want to look like you've tried anything. Now I've got a good amount there left, so I'm gonna take that. And this is what I mean, unless you have like a wet wipe or something near you, you are gonna potentially get some staining. But they give you that kind of like watercolor look, which is pretty. And this color in particular is really pretty this time of year. So that is the vintage rose color from Victoria Beckham. Now, I of course want to go a little ham, so I'm going to show you my favorite blush product from Chanel, which is their cream to powder blushes, and I really hope that they come out with more colors. There's only 5 colors right now, but Ulta is running all sorts of sales during the holidays, and many of them can include prestige, so you might be able to get these for 20% off. But this is the what did I say, Garnet Profonde color, and it is the burgundy, and it is intense, but I find that if you get a light coating here, you can kind of place it, and if you just gently tap it, it's going to give you more coverage than like that Victoria Beckham one, but it won't be so intense. Now, if you have a darker skin tone than me, you could go totally ham on these, and this would be beautiful. Now, I'm making it a little bit darker than normal because what I'm going to do is show you, well, it kind of looks like I'm winter. I've hit the winter there, but I'm going to show you what the Chantecaille, the new blushy highlighter duo, looks like. There was a peach one of these that's kind of peachy gold. It's more of a highlighter. And then this one, which can be a highlighter, but it can also be like a glowy blush topper. And it's really beautiful. And I'll show you it with the Victoria Beckham under it and then without. Beautiful consistency and a little iridescent. So over here is it by itself, and you can see there's not a ton of base there, but it's really beautiful. And then here I'll place it on top of the Victoria Beckham, and that's where you can really see that as a highlighter, blush kind of topper, that's where it really works well. So I'm going to do that, and what I'll try to do is keep it higher up and then graduate it down so that there's not much of it beyond kind of the middle point here. So this is a beautiful product, and I actually really like the liquid eyeshadows that came out during the holiday collection. They are some of the sparkliest, most beautiful ones I've seen that have come out this holiday season. So I grabbed some of those during the sale too because I really like them. Okay, so I'm going to grab some of this on a kind of dense brush. It's not a cream, but it's very creamy, so a denser brush is going to work better. What would also work really beautiful with this would be the new pink highlighter from Gucci that came out this holiday season. They came out with that kind of fuchsia-y pink one. And you can see this adds a lot of shine. It's not a lot of base pigment, but it's a lot of beautiful color. Okay, so I'm going to take my brush and remove any product from it on one of these microfiber towels. And then I'm going to just gently work this in. It is quite shiny, and you know, you could use a highlighter as well if you really wanted to kick this up, but I think this looks pretty nice on its own, and I don't know that a highlighter is necessary because when the light hits this, you can see it turns really pretty. The other thing I was going to show you that I really like with these, because of the texture, this is beautiful as like an eyeshadow, but what I'm going to do here is just place it in the center and just kind of tap it, and it gives kind of an iridescent look to this, and that's why I didn't put something super shiny on top of this. So what I'm doing is basically just kind of putting it on top of the pinkiest shade that's in the palette, and it just adds a little bit of an iridescent kind of glow to it. Okay, lipsticks. I pulled a couple today. I don't have a ton of like berry colored lipsticks, and I don't have berry colored liners, so I just grabbed one of the darkest ones I have, which is from ABH, and this is the color Cinnamon, and it is a brown, but it's cool tone, so I think it'll work. I quite like the ABH liners. They're the traditional pencil liners. So they last a long time. And they have a good amount of pigment. what you can see there is I was just kind of using the side of the pencil there to fill in and create kind of an ombre. Now I have 2 lipsticks I pulled today. I'm sure I have more that are berry, but I thought both of these were pretty. The first one is Rumbling Storm by Louis Vuitton La Bouteille. We're gonna have to do it on this hand because this hand's all glittery. That is a beautiful berry color. The other one I grabbed is from Victoria Beckham, and this is in the shade Play. It's a little warmer. They're about the similar depth. I think since I've already done the dark, I'm going to do the one that's just a slight bit warmer. Although I probably like the other color a little bit better. I think that this will work better and warm up the look just a little bit, even though it's pretty frosty berry. Yeah, that looks nice. And those Victoria Beckham lipsticks are also a holiday item to consider picking up when she has her sales. And don't get stuck with the Black Friday thing or Cyber Monday, because these brands will have sales and flat and one-offs all through the holiday season. So I think we've got here a really nice berry look using some new products to me and some new products in general, like the new concealer. So I really like this. Let me know what you think. I think it looks really nice and wintry. If you like this kind of content, then please consider liking, subscribing, following along, and sharing the page. You know, I'm trying to grow it. And shopping my links. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does help out the channel, and it's a small channel that I'm trying to get to grow. I think I'm ready for winter here. I don't know, but I hope you've enjoyed today, and I'll talk to you all soon. Appreciate you. Bye, everyone. Hey, I'm back because I was putting my makeup away, and I thought, how can I do this look and not try out one of the best lip glosses that came out this holiday season? And this is from Lisa Eldridge, and it would be perfect with this wintry look. This is the Kensington Plum color. Just adds like a little bit of an iridescent shine to the top. Great for a holiday party. Okay, bye everyone.